Hello and welcome to this episode of Point Counterpoint. We are here to discuss and deliberate an ongoing issue which has destroyed our rivers, our environment, and the ecosystem as a whole. We are speaking of rampant, destructive, illegal sand mining, which has threatened our rivers to such an extent that they have literally gone completely eroded, leading to massive environmental consequences. Secondly, this is not just an environmental issue, this is also a criminal issue. The rampant illegalities that have been taking place with gay abandon, with boats getting into our rivers, some of them in the interior forest areas like the Madai, the sand mafia taking complete control of these operations, and where often one has seen that the administration and the police system has turned a blind eye or were forced to turn a blind eye due to political pressures. All this would have been far worse, and our entire ecosystem would have been completely destroyed in the riverine areas if it had not been for activists who constantly litigated and fought at various levels, and also especially in the High Court, which has, I think, brought about a semblance of relief in at least some of the areas where sand mining was rampantly going on. But one can't forget the extent to which this problem spread like cancer. You stop mining in some places, it sprouts up in other places. We even had a shooting incident in South Goa where there was a firing which took place, and if I'm not mistaken, there was a death of one person, or he was seriously wounded or passed away. So these are things that have happened. These pockets of illegal mining have shown up, whether it is in the Sankhli constituency area, Sankhli, Bicholi, Amona, that area, or whether it be in the interiors of Mahdi. I recall one of the investigations, ground level investigations that Herald did, where our reporter went deep and into the forests, into the Mahdi forests, and spent some time in villages where there seemed absolutely no government presence while this was going on. This has happened in the Ponda Taluka area also. I mean, as part of this. Then it has happened in Perne, and so many other places, in Shandor, in Rashol near the ferry point. That was also another area where this is part of. So the long and the short of it is that it is never really over till it is over, and it is still not over because things are still happening. We are also kind of one should be thankful to the various organizations that have fought. This whole Sand Protectors Network has also done a lot of important work on this. So the River Sand Protectors Network has done a lot of work on this and got many favorable judgments, albeit after a lot of fight. We will delve into a lot of these issues. We are honored to have a very, very good panel of people who are not only stakeholders but crusaders, as well as somebody who has seen this up close and personal as an officer. So I just introduced Mr. C.L. Patil, the ex-DYSP of Goa, who has been in different areas like Mapsa and Ponda, and he will of course speak about the action part thereof. Claude Alvarez, the director of Goa Foundation, needs no introduction, but also in his avatar as a key member of the River Sand Protectors Network, has been in the thick of things as far as this issue is concerned. On my left is of course Viraj Bakre, who is a member of the Goa River Sand Protectors Network and one of the key intense litigators here who's fought about this on the ground as well as in the courts. And on my extreme left, Mr. Luel Fernandez, who's from Shandor. He's an anti-sand mining activist, let's call him that. Of course, he's done more work on that, but he's again a grassroots level crusader. I will start with Claude, since he's kind of led or been in the limelight of this agitation. Claude, I have no specific questions. The only question that I have is that how come, in spite of all this, the High Court, the NGT still had to take suo motu cognizance of this and is still worried or still concerned that this is still going on?
Well, the newspaper reports keep coming in the media.
Right.
If something comes in the Hindustan Times, because there's a correspondent here,
Yeah.
then the NGT Delhi wakes up and says that illegal sand mining is going on in Goa, and then they issue notice. This is what happened last week.
Last week
But-
they took only some of the Herald reports.
Yes, but there's also a sand mining challenge to the environment clearances given by the Goa government that is pending in the National Green Tribunal.
Right.
And there's a contempt petition that is also going on before the High Court. So it's a very serious thing that three different bodies are looking at what is happening in the state of Goa and why illegal mining continues despite all the various rules, regulations, environmental limitations put by the Ministry of Environment, orders passed by the High Court, a very detailed 30-page direction issued by the Inspector General of Police when Mr. Shukla was here. He has issued a very detailed directive to all police stations. Unfortunately, he left Goa. He retired and left Goa after that, and that directive was not carried out at all by any of the police stations.
Right.
So it's a sort of it's an issue which we are bothered about for several reasons. One is that the damage to the rivers, which is now very clearly established. If you look at the two district survey reports that have come up from the North Goa District Survey and the South Goa District Survey, they have documented very severe damages to the riverine
That's right.
ecosystem. That is one thing is very clear.
Correct.
But our main concern also, because we were interested in mining, is that for 2 years, not a single bit of revenue has come to the state from even 1 ton of sand extracted from Goa's rivers.
Right.
Which means that from official constructions like Attal Setu, Zuari Bridge, all the real estate projects, everything has been constructed in the last 2 years with illegal sand. Now, this is a telling state of your economy that a major portion of this economy is actually using illegal materials, illegally sourced materials. They're not getting you're not getting legal sand, you are getting sand from people who go to a river with a suction pump and a truck and who are every time able to speed up their operations to deal with the inspection machinery. First is to take it out in buckets, put it on the riverbank. When the police started attaching the riverbank supplies, now they bring the truck there, they have a suction pump and they directly put it into the truck and the truck leaves. So they have been moving very fast. I admire their skills. I mean, I admire the way in which they are responding to these situations so quickly because they are people who have to survive also in a certain sense. But overall, right now, we are still in a very fragile situation.
What
And the
about-
court has kept it going for another 2 months, even
Right.
though they could have disposed it.
Right.
We said we keep it for another 2 months to see whether they continue behaving or not.
No, but what about sand which is coming from other states where it is not illegal? I mean, in fact, we know sand comes in from Kudal in Maharashtra and other places where, and it is also used for building construction here. I mean, in the sense that I'm only asking you that maybe majority of the sand that is coming in is illegal, but is it 100%?
I think most of it is illegal because there is no known case of Maharashtra government of it, because Maharashtra is a very controlled state in terms of sand mining. They have got a far better system. They have complied with all the norms of sand extraction. So I don't think that they are going to encourage selling their sand because they have also got industry, they have got bridges which are being built, they have got also real estate projects.
Correct.
I don't think they are going to encourage Goa getting Maharashtra sand.
Right.
And similarly with Karnataka.
Right.
They are also in a shortage. The whole country is in a shortage.
Okay. CL Patil Bab, you've seen it as a cop very closely in different areas. There are two things associated with the police when it comes to sand mining. The first one is a charitable explanation where we said the police has worked hard. They have, in some areas, they have tried to crack down. They have seized boats and they've done stuff like that. Maybe it has happened in many areas. The majority view seems to be that even when the police tries to do good work, you get phone calls from different political parties, local MLAs, powers that be, people right on top. And A, you're prevented from even going to the spot. B, if you go to the spot and actually make the seizures, you're asked to pull back. So that is the second category. One are the cops who are doing fearless work. Second is cops who want to do work and who are under pressure. And third is the absolute corrupt lot who are hand in gloves with the illegal sand mining. So on all these three things, we just want your views on this.
Basically, sand mining, there are government has formed some squads, which are included people from mine department and police department and river navigation.
Right.
So they all these three departments work together, but I don't think there is a proper coordination between them. Sometimes they are in Panjim, sometimes
Or
they are,
willful miscommunication, let's put this.
maybe,
Huh.
maybe.
Huh.
And every time the call reaches first to the police, and then they activate other sources. So when the police reaches there, then they have to wait for the Mamledar and all to do the Panchanama, and those from mine department. Normally they conduct it, but every time police, it is not possible to the police to cover all the river banks. So these people are those who are involved in. They are having like a syndicate. They works very meticulously. If you catch them here, then they will find out other spot. So by the time police and other agencies comes to know, they change their guard,
Right.
and they go to another places.
Right.
So this type is happening. There may be pressure on the police also or other departments. So sand is a need of the people, and therefore the government has to go ahead with those licenses by which they can fetch some revenues, and government is losing a lot of revenue on sand.
But is it? I mean, is it also a fact that there are MLAs, ministers, political people who are not only protecting but are involved in the illegal sand mining business?
I'm not aware of it, but see, last level person of politics involves, then he involves on the behest of somebody.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So maybe political involvement.
Right.
I can't say no, but there is a pressure on certain areas. But police and other legally we have to do.
In your tenure as a senior police officer, did you get phone calls to stop?
No,
stop
I
activity?
never get. In fact, when that murder took place at Savarde, that area, then these people started targeting our Shiroda area. So I heard this every time when the sir has filed this petition. We used to go to the court also. So I was fed up because every time somebody was calling me that sand mining is going on. Straight away I went directly in the midnight with my driver only, and then I saw that area. Then I found that these laborers are brought from different places, Orissa and all. They are very expert in running away from the spot, and places are at such a juncture. So even police leaves from the police station, they come to know.
Is it
that much network they are having? Still, I reached there. Then I felt that I should destroy those huts which were erected to the
For these guys,
laborers,
yeah.
and then I destroyed it.
This was in which area?
In Shiroda area. Next day, there was a news on the paper that some police officers, he was not paid, so he has destroyed. These type of allegations also we have to face. Okay. But these people were operating from the Kurcharam area.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Viraj Bakribab, the issue is now illegal mining we have seen everywhere. In Tirakol, in Ugain, Rashol, in all the other places. Now, if you recall, the High Court had very clearly asked the DGP to file a proper report by December 12th, outlining all the steps that they were going to take to prevent and control illegal sand mining. They even wanted to know what they are doing with the inflatable, those rigid boats. Also, with regard to the unmanned aerial surveillance, all these things were asked. Now, this was a very detailed order. At the same time, as Claude mentioned, the former DGP also had actually put out a very, very good
standing order.
Action plan. You know, our viewers should also know, even efforts like this, how these efforts like this have been complete. Firstly, how did the state respond to on December 12th to the court? Secondly, a little bit about what has happened to the standing order. I mean, we know, but it's important to share with viewers also.
The contempt petition is going on for last 2 years, and this stops for some time, and again it restarts. So again, in after the rainy season, it started rampantly. In fact, then we showed the code that every time the officials file affidavits saying that we have stopped, we are taking action, we are filing FIRs, and we are trying our best to stop.
Right.
But in our area only, we see that there are around 10 to 15 boats, 100 people on the boats extracting sand. So nothing was happening.
Right.
Then just in the month, in the December, what we did is we just one day before the hearing, we took the photographs at different places and produced in the court. And they were very much satisfied, means they were
Convinced.
shocked to
Yeah,
see that such a big scale extraction is going on.
Right.
And in the court, they said, in the AG, they said that tomorrow you see that the DGP comes and deposes here.
Right.
What action, how this is going on,
Right.
and what they are going to do.
Right.
After that, only the machinery, the police machinery, they transferred.
Right.
Like after that only, and they directed the chief secretary also to convene a meeting and
Right.
give a report,
Right.
like what they are going to do.
Right.
So after that, they have transferred, like we Goa Rivers and Protectors Network petitioners, we gave them 10 places where
Right.
rampantly the extraction was going on. So at those 10 places, wherever in whichever police stations under which they were there, all the PIs were transferred.
Right.
The mines department geologists were transferred, and the new persons were instructed to ensure that it is totally stopped, and 24/7 patrolling will take place.
Right.
And if any violations are noted, the strict action will be taken against the official.
Right.
And after this only, it has stopped.
So it is stopped. You are saying it is
Yeah.
completely stopped. Okay. Because the court.
At all these places where
Right.
we had pointed out,
Right.
it may be going on at other places.
Right. 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 No, I know that. But what I'm essentially saying is that it is not completely stopped. You can't say that.
We cannot say that, because
The
wherever
not
the
completely stopped in the state of Goa, but in the places where it was chronic,
Yeah.
Right.
and where we were continuously approaching the court,
Right.
those places finally it
Yes.
halted.
So there is some kind of a success that has
yes,
happened.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
We are satisfied. but
Right.
We filed those complaints.
Right. Right. Mr. Luel Fernandez, see, one of the comments made by the court, and I'm going to read it, where the court actually said in one of its hearings that it almost seems that the authorities are not even bothered or prepared to see where the illegalities are. Forget trying to solve it. They're looking the other way. Now, from your experience, especially in the South Goa area where you've agitated, what is the ground reality as of now?
In my place, there is not much of that sand mining, but the illegal constructions that are going on, they require sand.
Right.
You see, on the newspaper, every second day you find, blocks of that come for demolition orders. Many of them. Your processes itself is wrong. You're giving house numbers, power supplies, and all those things, and encouraging illegal construction.
Right.
And these illegal construction stems out from illegal sand.
Right.
They require, demand and supply requires. Then my next contention is, in Goa, we have seen MPT is saying, from there onwards, river line, is theirs. Navy is saying it's theirs. Goa government is saying it's theirs. Kumdad also is saying, Kumdad actually is the owners. It's all theirs. But I got a letter from this thing, Mamladar, who says, it's not land, is not of the Goa government. So whose revenue land, you are harvesting? You bring the matter to the Kumdad and the body will adjudicate and give permission. Somebody else comes to our house and says it's their revenue, and starts harvesting from our land. How this can be? Basically mineral. Now the Shah Commission report, has said about 25,000 crores of mines, that has been robbed. How much money has been returned back? Now you're gone on the riverbeds, you're robbing that also. Even the minor minerals you're robbing. You see, I don't trust anybody of them, because what they do, when you have the mining blocks, you have this block is legally is yours, he goes and harvests from the next block. Even now the sand, if they're trying to give that, if they mark and give, he will go on the other spot on the block that. And the other part is, in Chandor side being the old capital of Goa, we had lot of this, dhows that had sank because of the low river beds, bed rocks, Who determines what is underneath the seabed? It's only the Archaeological Survey of India. So if they have the permissions or anything, they can go and see what is underneath the riverbeds.
Right.
Rather than they themselves unilaterally going.
Correct.
But this sand, is aiding and abetting the crime. Crimes in Goa are happening because of this sand. They're robbing, willfully robbing. There's no direct rate of revenue intelligence. Persons are having crores of rupees, who have robbed sand. You're taking sand, 30,000, 40,000 worth of each sand. Where is your money? And that fellow, was saying in agitating, he's saying, my wife is shouting at me, by the time I return home, it's him. There's no money in the pocket. So, when he has returned, who is there? Which cops are there, that has taken his money? How that money has disappeared from his hands? This is what I say, the authorities that are there, they are the ones, talakis, mamladars, police, and all are hanging glove, to empty his pockets. That is why, and he is no ordinary person. He is the chairman, he is the president of the Sand Mining Association president. He himself is saying, by the time these are his words, by the time I return home, my wife is saying nothing is there in the pocket. So when 40,000 has come in his pocket in the morning, who has emptied his 40,000 at home by the time he returns back? He's coming all along the road.
Right.
So who has emptied this? If authorities are there, then which are the authorities are there that are checking this?
Okay. Patil Bab, just a quick question. See, what happens is now you have the police stations, you have the coastal police, you have all this. Now, obviously, your police stations, your police people need training, they need equipment, you need manpower, you need functioning boats. One of the biggest complaints that everybody had was that ultimately, where are your boats? Because all the coastal police, I remember that we did a detailed investigation into this. There was a time when not a single functional boat was there in any of the coastal police areas, be it Betul, be it be it Beti, be it any of these areas.
Any of these.
So, as the situation improves, secondly, what were the actual infrastructure difficulties that you face? Because even if you have somebody running away on boats, do you have the wherewithal to actually tackle them? And what were the difficulties that you faced? What were the applications that you made? What were the responses? It's important to throw light on these things also.
Yeah.
If you could just share with us.
At that time, there were no boats. When I was there, I don't know present status of the boats and all. Boats are required. It is mandatory. The moment you receive call, you receive to the police only, and the moment who reach first will catch them.
Right.
So boats are required. Sufficient staff is required, and we have to control the laborers, those who are coming from outside. See, these people, what they do, the infrastructure or machinery is provided by local people, and those laborers sit on the boat and they extract sand.
Sitting on the boat.
Yeah,
Okay.
they extract sand. Sometimes by pump, succession pump. Sometimes by manually. So they extract and they sell that sand in a particular amount.
Okay.
To the local people. So if you control those laborers, then it is very easy to control the sand mining.
Right. Because I remember, I'll just interrupt you, then you can carry on.
Yeah.
Remember when we had gone into Mahdi, and when we were filming in those areas. Okay. A lot of local people came up and confronted our correspondent, our journalist there, saying that why are you objecting, because there's no illegal mining going on here. This sand is used for our local construction, which means obviously the illegal sand was being sold to local fellows, and they were apparently doing it. So that tallies with what you are trying to say.
Yeah.
No, but tell me, when you approach the government to help you or fund you or give you equipment and all that, have you had to wait for months and months and years just to get a proposal passed?
I am not aware much about it, but the government, when things are going in the High Court and all, so government has to give those facilities immediately, because we have to control sand mining, and we have to legalize it wherever there is sand on the river bed, because excess of sand is also cause for environmental issues, flood and all. So that we have to extract. But that the government has to demark, and immediate action is required to provide all facilities and allow the authorities to control those particular areas.
Claude, the fundamental argument made by the other side is that, look, you have to have buildings, you have to have constructions, construction activity cannot stop, even if bridges and highways are being constructed. So, if you make the whole thing illegal, how will the construction industry survive? This is the argument.
See, if there is a procedure established now,
Huh.
after Supreme Court orders, there is a procedure established that if you are doing sand mining, you got to get an environment clearance. Now, the environment clearance has to be based on a district survey report.
Okay.
The Goa government, on its own wisdom, said we will go ahead, we will get a report from NIO and we will process applications on that count. Now, the NGT has already held that other reports are no use. You have to produce a DSR report, district survey report.
Okay.
So they didn't produce it. Now, we went to the NGT and we said these environment clearances are useless because they are not based on any district survey report, because district survey report goes into many things. It establishes the scale, the availability of sand, and most important, it established the replenishment rate and the depth of the river in a particular section. Now, suppose you are allowed to go up to 3 meters only. The regulation is only up to 3 meters. Am I right? If the river through past mining has reached 20 meters, then how can you mine in that area? You can't. You can't give an environment clearance in that area. So we moved the NGT saying that these are bad. You please get them done. Now that petition was filed more than a year ago. All the adjournments, if you look on the Roznama, are from the Goa government side.
I see.
We have never adjourned. We are ready to argue anytime.
Right.
But the Goa government every time comes and says, please give us another 2 months. Please give us another 3 weeks to prepare the reply. Until today, last week, they have produced 2 district survey reports, one for North Goa, one for South Goa, where they have asked for comments. And as a responsible group, we have given our comments.
Right.
Because we agree with everybody that sand is an essential requirement. That sand must be removed from the rivers.
Right.
But this is subject to you are not destroying the river. You are not going below the legal level, what I call the legal level. And secondly, there must be a replenishment rate. That means every year, certain amount of sand comes from the hill and spreads across the river. The boulders become powder by the movement of the water over the boulders, and fine sand begins to accumulate all over. All those conditions must be met to do ecologically sound mining. Most important, we are saying, is it should be done only by traditional people. It cannot be done by these gangs of people, this mafia who bring laborers from outside. Kamurli, all these other places had good sand mining associations.
Right.
They have all been thrown out of business.
I see.
And the only people doing business now are all these people who have brought a contract labor, and they don't listen to any law.
Right.
They do what they want. So that has to stop. Our main argument always has been that the public is suffering because of all this corruption. See, today a ton of sand is costing 2,500 rupees.
Right.
And that also you don't know whether it's legal or not. But it costs 2,500 rupees per ton. In other places, in Goa also, it never costs more than 500 rupees a ton.
Okay.
Now, all this illegality has put the price beyond the reach of everybody. We have given a very detailed proposal to the Goa government in line with the Telangana government's proposal, saying that you do all the sand extraction. I mean, you don't physically remove it.
Correct.
You give the contract. You tell this Kamoli traditional association
To do it.
You remove some 20,000 tons and give us.
Correct.
And you ask some other, but you give it to the Goa government.
Right.
The Goa government then allocates that sand to every family as per right. You are living in Goa, you got a ration card, you get 1 ton of sand. I get 1 ton of sand, he gets 1 ton.
To do my building house.
Yes.
Right.
And if I don't want a ton of sand, I sell it to him.
Right.
I have no problem. But I am saying that the basic rate then will be 500 rupees to everybody.
Correct.
But the Goa government for some reason does not want to do this.
This proposal is lying with them.
It's lying with them. It's given them in very great detail.
For a year or two.
For 4 years.
Right.
When this problem
Very
first began.
Okay. And this has not been raised at all in the assembly, in other places.
No,
Nobody
it's
is
not,
even.
nobody. It's the most perfectly logical.
Absolutely correct.
It's being done in Telangana. It's done
Right.
in many other places.
Right.
You take out the sand.
Right.
You give it to the Goa government. The Goa government has warehousing facilities, whatever it is.
Correct.
They say that this sand is available. All those who have got a legitimate building permission, that means illegal building will not start.
Right.
If you got a permission from PDA, Panchayat, etc., so then you are allocated that sand at that particular rate.
Right.
So everybody will, the prices of the housing development will come down.
Right.
Now nobody can first of all afford the price of the land, and nobody can afford the price of the sand.
Correct.
Except these developers who are coming from outside. They are bribing the parties. They are getting sand. They are getting sand in quantities. At 7 o'clock trucks arrive in the morning and they go to real estate projects and they give them their money because they have got a different way of purchasing that sand from the illegal trade circles.
Right.
And nobody is stopping them because they have got their own
So the
links to the politicians.
entire purchase and sale is totally legal. The whole purchase.
As of today, there is not a single person who has got a valid license to remove sand from Goa's rivers. Bus, period.
See,
That's the official information I'm giving.
These are very telling comments and in
As
detailed
of
comments. So correct.
If you have got sand coming to your house,
Right.
most likely you are doing illegal activity.
Right, Bab, see, now taking a leaf out of what Claude said and Sale Patel Bab said. See, now the point here is, doesn't this reflect very poorly and very strongly and poorly on the political ecosystem? My point is, if this is rampant and nobody is unaware of the fact that any building which is being made is being built made with sand extracted illegally and sold illegally. Everybody is aware of it. Yet there are building contractors, there are sand mining contractors, there are legislatures who may be having their hand in the whole pie, allegedly, all and so on and so forth. Now the point is, isn't it high time to really grill and question the political class also instead of just the bureaucratic authorities as to why does a single MLA, whether it's from the ruling party or opposition, not make this into a major issue? Why has it not been raised? When was the last time you heard of anybody saying, let us have an adjournment motion on this and stop all activity and discuss this? How many LAQs do we have in every session, where this is there? These are things that need to be looked at. So my point is, what does this tell you? What does this trend indicate?
See, first thing I will clarify that there is a misinformation in the media that the sand extraction is stopped by High Court or NGT.
Correct.
They have not issued any order to stop sand extraction.
Right.
Another allegation is against NGOs. So NGOs have never put a prayer that stop
activity. Stop sand mining.
Sand mining.
Right.
We as a Rainbow Warriors, we are the judgment holders where we prayed. We have put a prayer that environment clearance, whatever the conditions are there in the environment clearance, should be followed. And now through Goa Foundation, the Goa Rivers and Protectors Network, we have filed a contempt petition.
Right.
So we have never asked for stoppage.
Right.
So always in the court or people think that the NGOs and court is stopping. No.
Right.
In fact, the government has filed an affidavit in a earlier petition, PIL 14/2018, that we will not issue extraction licenses till we follow the environmental conditions. Till that time we will not issue.
Right.
And from that 2018 till today in 2024, they have not issued extraction licenses. So what you are asking is same, that the government is responsible for this. When the environment clearance expired in 2020, they knew that it is going to expire. So they should have started the process 1 year before that.
Correct.
Or whatever the formalities are to be done.
Correct.
Like now as Claude sir said, they came out with a report from NIO and wanted to give environment clearance. In fact, they were issued environment clearance, which was totally wrong.
Right.
So district survey report is the basic data which is required for that. So now after 1 year, when we challenged that NIO report and EC in the NGT, after 2 years almost, they have come out with the district survey report for South and North.
Right.
Again, that is based on NIO report and the same data they have used. And whatever we have challenge there, that it doesn't contain replenishment rate, the red level.
You're talking about DSR.
DSR now.
Okay. Huh.
So they have to come with a level, mean sea level, one marking where below that they cannot give permission
Right.
for extraction.
Right.
Then to see the depth of the river, they should have a infrastructure to calculate the depth of the river. They don't have. This is what they had submitted in the
So you're
court.
saying even the DSRs don't have that.
The DSRs don't have that.
Okay.
This particular points which I'm
Right.
so again, even if they cannot issue environment clearance based on this DSR, they have to have this data.
Right. So coming, so this is
So now
NIO,
this is
NIO is National Institute of Oceanography.
right.
Water oceanography is coming in the riverbeds of ours, and that is on the direction of the central government. Can the state government give direction to them to submit a report? They have to be given by the center, no?
No, that
it's
is
a
why-
central
yeah,
government
but
office.
That is why now the DSR report is considered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
this-
which offices come and monitor what here? This is what the theft is here only.
Correct.
And
so, but this DSR is the basic requirement,
Right.
which is not proper.
Right.
So again, legal sand mining will not start, cannot
Right.
start
Right.
with this, because there is no data about replenishment. They have to do study, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon study they have to do. Only after that they can find out what is the replenishment, and only based on the replenishment, sand permits can be granted.
No, but as even well just now mentioned, the whole issue is ultimately we have to see who is really accountable and who needs to do. But when
The
we are-
executives, like the government.
So my point being that we look at the executives, undoubtedly they are accountable because
Yes.
they're I mean it is their hand that signs
Yes.
orders, directions. But my point is, why are we forgetting the entire political
class.
class?
Yes.
They're the main fellows.
Which they are the ones who actually have the strings on which the puppets are dancing.
Right.
So my point is, my issue is, why is there not enough focus on the people who are actually controlling or allowing this plunder to take place? Well, you can.
If you check CL Patel's phone numbers, he will tell you, whose phones are coming.
No, he said no
That is
phones
the
have come.
main fellow.
I have not.
The whole thing boils to the politicians.
Yes.
Nothing moves in the Goa government. If they do something, they are either transferred, suspended, or harassed.
Yes.
This is the way the Goa government works. Without a call, coming through, you will not get anything done, and they will sit tight. No officers in the Goa government will work unless they get a call from their bosses. This is how it works, and they will tell you, Sarkar. Sarkar means he. Not you and me. Sarkar means, he, whatever direction he gives, you are supposed to move. If there are restrictions given, the court will give. And we know how to manipulate the court. This is how it will work. You
So,
will not get anything done.
If you recall, you were mentioning there was one instance when 9 officers were transferred in one go.
That is the
Yes,
same.
that's
That
the
is the
recent
result the
one.
same. Recent
2
one.
months back.
The recent one. 2 months back.
What really happened?
No, as a result, because the IGP and the CS found that it was correct that these photographs had been taken, and they showed that within the jurisdiction of these police stations, sand mining had been taken place that very week. In order to show the High Court that they were determined to do something, they transferred all those officers in one night.
Okay.
No, and we have actually congratulated the
Right.
Yes.
IGP and
Yes.
the Chief Secretary
In the
for
High Court.
That action.
for bringing everything to a halt
Right.
in all these problem areas
Right.
almost overnight. We have congratulated them. We said that patrolling has started.
Okay.
The police are now going around. And police used to tell us that we go up to the river, but we can't chase them because they are on boats and the boats disappear in the water.
Correct.
So we said, but you have to have people there with boats. I mean, when you look at the whole situation, we said the police is supposed to protect us. For example, from you take the terrorists who attack Bombay.
Right.
If you are not able to deal with them, what are you, these people here? They don't have AK-47 guns. They are ordinary laborers from
Correct.
Orissa and so on. You are not able to catch them. What are you going to catch terrorists when they come from across the sea in boats or something and take over the place?
Lord, you should tell them, why don't I catch you now?
So
Instead
I'll
of catching
support
them, we have to catch
what
you.
CL Patil sir said, that if you catch those people,
Right.
extractors, those
Right.
laborers, no, this can be
Everything
controlled.
comes to halt.
Correct.
Because without the laborers, they cannot do.
Manpower.
Nobody dares to extract sand.
And all the
in that
laborer
level, yeah.
colonies are known.
Yeah.
They are there.
Yeah,
We have
just-
told the court,
Yeah.
200 people have come here and been put here.
Yeah.
And some houses coming here.
Right.
And we have got one of our fellows is actually selling bamboo. So he knows that if sale of bamboo is taking place, it means that suddenly they are going to
That
start sand
hardman
mining
is
somewhere.
Money, correct.
Everything is there.
Correct.
So you
we have
stop
got-
that because those people are hard workers. Overnight,
those labor fellows.
Those laborers
They are
are
very tough guys. They are
Very tough guys.
Ah.
They even
So they reside in the area. They're
Yeah,
residents of
at,
that place.
at the
correct.
nearby
Nearby area.
nearby area.
So have you kind of picked anybody up or questioned them in your system, and what have they said?
Yeah, that is what I told you that they extract the sand and then they sell it to the agents.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Well, if a sand certain tons at certain rate they purchase it 6,000 rupees per boat or something. Then they sell it.
So there is a proper ecosystem of these agents who are there to pick up the.
that
You want sand today,
Hmm.
we can give you certain numbers, you phone them, it will come to your gate.
that system is established.
They have a good
Very well
network.
established.
The moment you stop those
No
workers-
sales tax, no GST, nothing.
Nothing.
No, that is what that
Nothing,
one
nothing,
thing.
nothing.
Once
The
you
problem
stop
has become so much, this fellow Sujay. 800 rupees is for manual labor if you go in the market. With the 800 rupees, I cannot take those laborers in my paddy field, to go work. What will I get, if I take 4 laborers, 8 4s are 32, 3,200.
Yeah.
3,200 per day, about 7 days will be 21,000. After putting 21,000 only to cultivate the paddy,
Yeah.
crop,
It is 8,000.
what will be my output?
You
What
will
will I get? I'm not getting paddy. I'll have to buy, more paddy,
Yeah.
to get the outcome.
Correct.
Agriculture has come to a halt, because there
Because
is
of-
thefting going on in the riverbank. This thing has to be stopped. The 800 for ordinary laborers, plus you got to get, other workers who are there, like mechanized tractor drivers and all the harvesters. What rate, the cost will go? You're not getting laborers to cultivate the fields. Agriculture has come to a grinding halt because of this, this,
Oh, you're
this
linking
type of
this to that.
situation.
Okay.
Illegal. They're telling if they're saying, we will come and plaster your place. But going in a paddy field, they will fold their hands and say, we are not coming there.
Viraj, just a few closing comments in the sense that, so overall you all are saying the situation is much better than what it was. It has stopped in many areas, some proactive action has been taken. But do you also agree that there are other areas that, that are becoming vulnerable to this destruction? And how do we need to ensure that stops? And according to you, what is the overall damage that has already happened, which is irreparable, irrespective of whether it has stopped or not?
The damage which is already happened is reported by both the DSRs.
Right.
District Survey Report North, Konkan Railway Corporation.
Okay. But is it irreparable?
Yes,
Okay.
Irreparable.
it is irreparable. The land which is washed away, it is kilometers, and it is so many farmers have lost their land in Ugwe. The tree near that Ugwe
Coconut
railway
trees
bridge.
and all.
Yes.
Poroskode, Konkan railway bridge, no? The coconut tree has come in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
So much of land is washed away. So this is irreparable, irreversible, in fact. And Konkan Railway has given a complaint way back in 2018 to stop sand mining. Still it was going on. Even means before this order it was going on there.
Right,
Now
right.
in the DSR they have said that sand extraction should not happen in
500
that
meters,
area.
500 meters across. From
In
both
fact, it
sides.
is. I read today again the monitoring. What is this? Enforcement and monitoring guidelines. It is not only. It is minimum 500, but it should be 10 times the span of that bridge
Right.
on the upstream and 5 times on the downstream. So it
What
is,
should be 5 times?
it should not be allowed.
Extraction area should be out of that.
Out of that.
Oh, okay.
It should not be allowed.
Okay.
Because here the Poroskode,
But this is not being followed anywhere.
No.
This is not
This
being
is
followed.
not followed.
Yeah.
They are extracting in Amuna also below the bridge.
Below the bridge.
Right.
In the span they are.
And
Right.
Poroskode, that Konkan Railway, that footing is visible now.
Right.
Yes, because they have removed everything.
So
underneath.
it is very dangerous now.
Hmm.
In fact, government should do something to restore that.
Okay.
What happened to the income tax department? Does this department don't look after the money laundering? See, the amount is huge.
It is
man.
not
That
IT,
is now kept exclusively for opposition politicians, so they don't have any time to go. They don't have any time to go.
Claude, just to close out this discussion, little bit of what Viraj also said. See, the thing is, so even if it has stopped, you are saying that damage is so much that damage will never be restored.
Somebody has to pay for it.
Exactly.
We
Who
don't
pays
know
for it?
who's going to have to pay for it, but we are thinking of approaching the NGT
Yeah.
because the NGT in several places has imposed very severe penalties for restoration
Right.
of damage caused by sand mining.
Hmm.
So till those stretches are repaired, our suggestion is you don't touch anything here. Let nature restore itself slowly, and wherever human beings can restore it, we restore it. But this is damaged area. If it is damaged area, you don't encourage more sand mining in that area, whether
Right.
legally or not. Whether these environment clearances are also mostly pieces of paper.
Correct.
So you don't encourage it. Where in other places you have got a proper system where you can control the type of boats, the type of extraction. You are putting in your guidelines that you cannot use suction pumps. The suction pumps are being used even now.
Right.
So if you cannot enforce even that, what is the use of saying that we
So
are banning it?
when we say enforce, would you say it is the River Navigation Department, the Captain of Ports? These are the two main.
DMG, Directorate of Mines and
They are-
Geology,
that's
this is
the
a minor
principal-
mineral.
Right.
He has to have a license, he has to have an environment clearance. Every quantum of tons he's removing, he has to pay DMF charges, he has to pay royalty, he has to do all that. There is nothing.
And River Navigation also needs to look into the
They are supposed to protect the rivers
rivers. Yes.
and
Right.
navigation in the rivers.
Right.
So they are also not doing their duty. The captain of ports, they are not doing their duty.
And the police hands are tied, as you are saying, tied or otherwise.
No, police, there are some very good people, but there are some bad people. So
Right.
that is for them to look after. We, the public, cannot do anything because there are always some bad eggs
Right.
and some very good eggs. I mean, Jaspal Singh is very good. This person, Shukla came. He wrote as a 30-page. He made his officers log and produced that standing order because as per the Police Act, we don't have a police like. We can only function under standing order. So he issued a standing order.
Right.
We were appalled that they are not implementing the standing order issued
Correct.
by the Director General of Police, the police officers
The
themselves.
standing order came during your service time.
Yeah,
Yes.
that time.
That before retirement.
Yeah.
Correct.
Before
Yeah.
he was living, he put that.
Correct.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have put that if he
No,
was.
he has issued many standing orders
Yeah.
during his tenure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he came down to Goa thereafter.
Right. Right.
Because after that matter
No, we
went
are
to the High
thankful.
Court, then he felt that we have to do something from
Right.
our part.
Right. Okay, we've run out of time, unfortunately, but this has been a very good in-depth discussion. There's a good takeaway and a bad takeaway. The good takeaway is that yes, some action has indeed been done. The standing order of DGP Shukla, plus the work done by the River Sand Protectors Network has all kind of borne fruit. The unfortunate fallout of this is that large parts of Goa and riverbeds in most areas have suffered permanent damage which will not get restored in a hurry or at all in many places. So somebody has to pay for this. It is not just enough to say that we have stopped sand mining in different areas. That statement also is not absolutely complete because there are different other areas that are now coming up, because greed never seems to end. And to fuel this whole business of construction, illegal constructions, greed has played a big part. And also what we learnt in this discussion is that it's an absolute myth that if you stop illegal sand construction, illegal sand mining, construction will also stop, as Claude very rightly laid out extensively on how rightly this can actually be done. Let the government control it, let the local sand mining associations take charge of it, and let the sand be sold properly. Everybody gets a quota. Whoever does not need it gives it to others in a community distribution of sand, and all this can be done properly. Prices can also be controlled, because apart from the environment damage, the whole cost of real estate is also going up because of these rampant illegal sands sold at such high prices. But it's an issue that needs to be done, and discussion needs to go on because the overall damage is far too intense. I thank all the panelists for their very informative inputs and some very frank admissions and discussions. We wish this conversation goes on and the scourge of illegal sand mining ultimately ends. Thank you.